Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive all about, well, learning to code. We're diving into that AlgoCademy article, the one you sent over, Learning to Code in 3 months. Here's why that's unrealistic.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one.
I think this is going to be perfect for anyone thinking about, switching careers or maybe aiming for those big tech companies.
Definitely. It really cuts through a lot of the hype you see out there.
Yeah, all those promises of like become a coder in a few weeks. It's tempting, but
It's just not realistic for most people. This article does a great job of explaining why.
right off the bat, it debunks that whole 3-month myth. I mean, some of those boot camps make it sound so easy.
Yeah, but learning to code, it's not like learning a spoken language, It's more like it's more about problem solving, thinking like a computer
So
scientist.
it's not just about the language itself.
Exactly. You need to understand things like algorithms. Think of them like recipes, sets of instructions that tell the computer how to solve a problem step by step. Okay, so there's more to it than just like writing lines of code.
And then there are data structures, which are like different ways of organizing information so the computer can use it efficiently.
Got it. So if 3 months isn't realistic, what kind of timeline are we actually talking about here?
Well, the article lays out a more grounded time frame, but everyone learns at their own pace, of course. But in general, you're looking at maybe 3 to 6 months just to build a solid foundation.
Okay, so that's like basic syntax, maybe trying out a language or two.
Right, and starting with some simple projects. Then, from 6 to 12 months, you start diving deeper, really getting into algorithms, data structures, and maybe exploring different areas like web development or data science.
Wow, so that first year is pretty packed.
It is, but by the time you hit 1 to 2 years, you're really honing those skills, maybe contributing to open source projects or tackling more advanced concepts. And after 2 years or more, you're moving towards expertise, solving complex problems, maybe even mentoring others.
So it's a long-term commitment.
It is. It's a journey.
The article mentions AlgoCademy as a good option for structuring that learning process.
Definitely. AlgoCademy is really good at breaking down those complex concepts into smaller, more manageable lessons. And they have those interactive coding challenges, which are really helpful. You get feedback right away, which is, it's something you don't get from just reading a textbook.
It's like having a coding coach right there with you.
Exactly. And they have a great community too, so you can connect with other learners, get support, and stay motivated.
Speaking of motivation, the article emphasizes consistent practice, even if it's just for short periods each day.
Yeah, consistency it's really key. Even 15 minutes a day can make a huge difference in the long run. It's about building that habit, like brushing your teeth. You don't think about it, you just do it.
And finding projects that you're excited about can help with that too, right?
Oh, absolutely. When you're working on something you're passionate about, it doesn't feel like work. It feels
Yeah.
like you're creating something.
And the article mentions that working on projects is crucial, not just for practice, but for showing potential employers what you can do.
Projects are where you really get to apply what you've learned.
Yeah.
It's one thing to understand a concept, but it's another to actually build something with it. Like even something as simple as building a calculator.
Okay, I see what you mean.
It might seem basic, but it teaches you about things like user input, how to process data, how to display results.
So it's all about putting those skills into practice.
And through projects, you learn to debug, which is a really crucial skill. You'll run into bugs. You'll be like, why isn't this working? And you have to figure out how to fix them.
That's a big part of coding, right?
Huge. And the article encourages starting with those simpler projects and then gradually working your way up to more complex ones.
So it's like lifting weights. You don't start with the heaviest ones right away.
Exactly. You
Mm.
gradually increase the challenge as you get stronger. Same with coding. Start with something manageable and then push yourself a little further with each new project.
The article also talks about how tough those FAing interviews are.
Oh yeah, FAing interviews, they're notorious for a reason. They really focus on those core computer science concepts. Algorithms, data structures, problem solving.
So how does someone even prepare for that?
Well, it often takes months of dedicated study. You need to dive deep into data structures, algorithms, practice problem solving, understand system design. And you need to be familiar with the company's specific tech stack too.
It's intense.
It is. Those learn to code in 3 months programs, they don't really prepare you for that.
But even if someone isn't aiming for FAing, those computer science fundamentals are still important, right?
Oh, absolutely. The article makes that point very clear. Understanding those concepts makes you a much stronger programmer, no matter what you're building.
It's like having a strong foundation for a house.
Exactly. And platforms like AlgoCademy can really help with that. Their focus on those practical skills it's valuable, whether you're aiming for those top companies or just starting out.
Now, something that really stood out to me in the article is the emphasis on soft skills.
Soft skills. Yeah, they're often overlooked.
It's not just about the technical stuff, right?
Right. While those technical skills are obviously essential, soft skills are what make you truly effective in a real-world tech environment, where you're working with other people.
Like, what kind of soft skills are we talking about?
Well, things like communication, collaboration, problem solving, not just the coding time management, adaptability, attention to detail.
It's like being able to work well with others, being organized, communicating your ideas clearly.
Exactly. And those skills are essential at every stage of the software development process, from brainstorming ideas to collaborating with colleagues,
Yeah.
and especially as you progress in your career.
So it's not just about, sitting alone at a computer and writing code.
Not at all. It's about being a well-rounded individual who can not only write great code, but also communicate effectively, collaborate with others, and solve problems creatively.
Wow, we've covered a lot already. From debunking the 3-month myth to the importance of projects and those soft skills.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
Right, there's so much more to explore. Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of coding. Last time, we kind of busted some myths about, becoming a coder super fast, and we talked about that realistic timeline, remember?
Term of a journey, right?
Exactly. And it's one that's always evolving, isn't it?
Absolutely. Tech moves so fast, new languages, frameworks, tools, it's constantly changing.
That can be a little daunting, but I guess it also keeps things interesting, right? There's always something new to learn. The article mentioned those learning plateaus we all hit sometimes.
Oh, the plateaus. Yeah, this can be frustrating.
One day you're coding like a pro, and the next it's like you've hit a wall.
It's like you're stuck in a loop and you
Yep.
can't figure out how to break out of it.
I've definitely been there. So how do we deal with those moments, those times when you just feel stuck?
I think the first thing is to remember that it's totally normal. Everyone experiences those plateaus. It's part of the process.
The article had some good tips for staying consistent, even when you're not feeling super motivated, like setting aside a specific time each day for coding, even if it's just for a few minutes.
Exactly. Make it a habit, something you do automatically, like, I don't know, checking your email in the morning.
And finding those projects that you actually enjoy working on, that can make a big difference, right?
Huge difference. When you're passionate about something, it doesn't feel like a chore. It's like you're actually excited to sit down and work on it. You're in that flow state.
The article also talked about joining coding communities, online groups, as a way to stay motivated and connect with other people.
Those communities can be amazing. They're like support groups, but for coding. You can ask questions, share your struggles, celebrate your wins, and you can even find people to collaborate with on projects.
Which is important, right? Because in the real world, you're usually working with a team.
Absolutely. Collaboration is a key skill for any developer. Okay, let's go back to those projects for a minute. We touched on them earlier, but I want to emphasize just how crucial they are, not just for practicing your skills, but for actually showing potential employers what you can do.
It's like your coding resume, right?
It's more than a resume. It's proof that you can take an idea and turn it into something real. Remember that calculator example I mentioned? It's a simple project, but it teaches you so much.
Right. You're actually building something.
You're learning about user input, processing data, displaying results, and most importantly, you're showing that you can solve problems.
The article said that projects are also a good way to uncover those knowledge gaps you might have.
Oh, that's so true. When you're working on a project, you inevitably run into things you don't know, and that forces you to go out and learn them. It's a constant cycle of learning and growing.
And those challenges, as frustrating as they can be sometimes, they actually make you a better programmer in the long run.
Every bug you fix, every roadblock you overcome, it's like a workout for your brain. You're building those problem-solving muscles that are so essential in coding.
So it's like those coding challenges are actually good for you.
They are. They make you stronger, more resilient, and those skills, they'll stay with you throughout your career.
The article had a good analogy for approaching those projects. Start small and gradually increase the challenge, like you're working out.
That's exactly right. You wouldn't start lifting heavy weights on your first day at the gym, would you?
No way.
Same with coding. Start with something that's manageable, and then push yourself a little further with each project. Find that sweet spot between challenge and enjoyment.
And remember, those projects are going to be your shining stars when you're applying for jobs. They show potential employers what you're capable of.
They're a tangible representation of your skills and experience,
Hmm.
much more powerful than just, listing things on your resume.
Okay, let's switch gears for a minute and talk about something that might seem a little out of place when we're talking about coding. Soft skills. The article really emphasizes how important they are.
They're absolutely crucial. It's easy to get caught up in the technical side of things, but those soft skills, they're what make you a truly effective developer, especially when you're working in a team environment.
So, can you remind us what exactly are we talking about when we say soft skills?
We're talking about communication, collaboration, being able to clearly explain your ideas, work well with others. And then there's problem solving, not just the coding kind, but the kind where you have to, think on your feet and find solutions to unexpected problems. Time management, adaptability, attention to detail, all of those things.
So it's like having good people skills, but in the context of coding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And these skills are important at every stage of the process, from brainstorming ideas to writing code to testing and debugging. And they become even more critical as you move up in your career.
The article made a good point about how developing these soft skills, it's an ongoing
It
process.
is. It's not something you just learn once and then, you're done. It's about continuous improvement, being self-aware, recognizing your strengths and weaknesses, and being open to feedback.
So even experienced programmers can benefit from focusing on their soft skills.
Absolutely. I've seen brilliant coders struggle because they couldn't communicate effectively or work well with others. These skills are essential for building a successful career and for creating a positive and productive work environment.
Okay, so it sounds like learning to code is not just about mastering those technical skills, but about developing a whole set of personal and professional qualities that will help you succeed, both in your career and in life.
You got it. It's about becoming a well-rounded individual who can write great code, communicate effectively, collaborate with others, solve problems creatively, and manage their time efficiently.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground in this part of our deep dive. We've talked about those learning plateaus, the importance of projects and consistent practice, and how those often overlooked soft skills can really make a difference in your coding journey.
And all of this ties back to that idea we talked about earlier. Learning to code is a journey, not a destination.
Exactly. It's a journey that's full of challenges and rewards. But before we move on to the final part of this deep dive, where we'll explore all the different career paths you can take with your coding skills, I want to touch on one more thing that the article emphasized: job readiness.
Ah, yes, job readiness. That's where the rubber meets the road, right?
You can have all the skills and knowledge in the world, but you need to know how to translate that into a successful job search.
And let's be honest, landing a job as a programmer, especially at those top tech companies, it can be really competitive.
The article didn't sugarcoat it. So what's the secret? What does it really take to be job ready?
Well, it goes beyond just being able to write code. Employers want to see that you can actually apply those skills to solve real-world problems.
Hmm.
They want to see that you can work effectively in a team and that you have the potential to grow and learn within their company.
So it's about demonstrating those problem-solving skills, those teamwork abilities, and that growth mindset we were talking about.
Exactly. And one of the best ways to do that is through your portfolio of projects.
So those projects we keep talking about, they're not just for practice.
They're essential for showcasing your skills to potential employers. It's like instead of just saying, I can bake a cake, you're actually showing them a cake that you baked.
And they can taste it and see how delicious it is.
Precisely. And those cakes, those projects, they don't have to be super complex or groundbreaking. They can be personal projects that demonstrate your understanding of basic coding concepts. Remember that music app you mentioned? That's a great example.
Okay, so it's about showing that you can take an idea, turn it into code, and create something that actually works.
Exactly. And don't forget to highlight those soft skills in your portfolio, too. How you present your projects, how you explain the challenges you faced. All of that shows potential employers that you're not just a coder, you're a team player, a problem solver.
So it's like weaving those soft skills into the fabric of your portfolio, making it clear that you'd be a valuable asset to their team.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of networking either. Go to industry events, connect with people online, reach out to developers you admire. Building those relationships can open up doors you never even knew existed.
It's about putting yourself out there, making those connections.
And remember, the job search process can be tough. Don't get discouraged if you don't land your dream job right away. Just keep learning, keep building those projects, keep networking, and those opportunities will come. The tech world is vast, and there's a place for everyone who's passionate about code.
So to sum it all up, job readiness is about combining those technical skills with those all-important soft skills and presenting yourself as a well-rounded individual who can make a real contribution to a company.
Exactly. And remember, the learning doesn't stop when you get that job. The tech world is constantly evolving, so you have to be willing to keep learning and growing throughout your career.
Well said. In the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore all the different career paths that are out there for programmers. We'll talk about how to find your niche in this exciting world, and we'll offer some practical tips for turning your passion for code into a rewarding and fulfilling career.
We'll also point you towards some resources that can help you along the way, connect you with other coders, and help you find those opportunities that align with your interests and goals.
It's going to be packed with insight, so make sure you join us for the final part of this deep dive. All right, welcome back to the final part of our coding deep dive. So we've covered a lot of ground, from timelines to those all-important soft skills.
We really have.
But now I think it's time to talk about, where all this can actually lead you, the exciting world of coding careers.
Right. You've learned the language. Now it's time to see where it can take you. The tech industry is huge. You could build websites, apps, work with data, AI, even cybersecurity.
It can be overwhelming, honestly, just trying to figure out where to even start.
For sure.
The AlgoCademy article mentioned this a bit, but do you have any advice for someone who's, trying to navigate all these different options?
I think the most important thing is to find your niche,
Yeah.
Figure out what really interests you. What are you passionate about?
Like, what problems do you want to solve with your coding skills?
Exactly. Do you love visual design? Maybe front-end web development is for you. Are you fascinated by data? Then you can look into data science or machine learning.
So it's about figuring out what clicks for you.
And the best way to do that is to just try things out, experiment. Don't be afraid to, play around with different languages, different frameworks, see what you enjoy.
It's like trying on different hats, right? See which one fits best.
Exactly. And, a lot of those platforms like AlgoCademy, they offer these specialized tracks.
Yeah.
They can give you a deeper dive into specific areas so you can really get a feel for what that kind of work would be like.
That's really helpful, especially if you're just starting out.
It is. And a lot of them also have, career resources like resume help or mock interviews, which can be really valuable when you're ready to start job hunting.
Okay, let's talk about those job opportunities. The article, even though it was, debunking that whole 3-month myth, it did have some good insights into what it really takes to land a coding job. And as we've discussed, having a strong portfolio is key.
It's essential. Your portfolio is your chance to show, not just tell, potential employers what you can do.
It's like biscuing a cake, right? Instead of just saying, I can bake a cake, you're actually showing them the cake you made.
Exactly. And those cakes, those projects, they don't have to be, super complex. They can be personal projects, things you build just for fun.
But they show that you can take an idea and actually turn it into working code.
Right. And remember, your portfolio should also highlight those soft skills we talked about.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
How you present your work, how you explain the challenges you overcame. All of that shows that you can work in a team, that you can solve problems.
So it's about weaving those soft skills into the presentation, showing that you're not just a coder, you're a valuable team member.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of networking either. Go to industry events, connect with people online, reach out to developers you admire.
Putting yourself out there.
Yeah, building those relationships. You never know where they might lead.
And I know you've said this before, but I think it bears repeating. Job hunting can be tough.
It can be.
Don't get discouraged if you don't, land that perfect role right away.
Persistence is key. Keep learning, keep building, keep networking, and the right opportunities will come along.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, right? As long as you're passionate about coding and you keep learning and growing, you'll find your place in this industry.
You will. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be building the next big app, something changes the world.
Or even just something that brings people joy, solves a problem.
The possibilities are endless, really.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. I hope this has been helpful, giving you some things to think about.
Yeah, I hope it's given you a better sense of what it really means to learn to code and what it takes to build a successful career in tech. It's challenging, but it's also incredibly rewarding.
So to our listener, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you've enjoyed it.
And remember, never stop learning, keep exploring, and most importantly, have fun with it.
Until next time.